Hello and welcome. Today we are going to talk about how to set up Apache Kafka on your local machine. First, I will need to open my terminal to begin. Let's start. On your terminal, you first of all need to install Kafka. But before you install Kafka, you also need to check if you have Java installed before you install Kafka at all. So to check if you install Java, you're going to open our terminal and I'll put this side by side so you can follow along. So in my terminal, I will first of all run Java version to see if I have Java installed. As you can see here, I have Java installed on my machine, so I will proceed to the next step. But if you don't have Java installed, you can go through this URL. I'll put the link in the description below so that you can go through this URL to be able to download Java. So once you've done that, we need to also go ahead and download Apache Kafka. If you don't know where to download that, you can search on Google or go through this URL. I'll put this in the description below as well so that you can download the Apache Kafka on your machine. So to check if I've already downloaded Apache Kafka to my own machine, so I'll go ahead to proceed to the next step. First I'll proceed to downloads where I have my downloads Apache Kafka folder. In my downloads folder, I have the Apache Kafka. So here we proceed to step 3, where we need to, or step 4, where we need to extract the downloaded Apache Kafka account by running this command. The command you can see here. So once you run this command, you extract the Apache Kafka file into your machine, and then you cd into the extracted folder and continue to the next step. So here I'm going to cd into my Kafka folder. As at the time of this recording, Kafka has about Kafka 2.13, and then you can check that out to be sure you have the correct version of Kafka. 0.3.7.0. So I'm in my Apache Kafka folder now. Then inside this folder, you can run your ls command to be able to list all the folders you have in this in your folder. So here I have all my data stored, and then the next step is to if you're not sure where you are on your system, you can run your pwd command to know that you're in the correct folder or in the correct directory. So next you proceed to step 2, where we set up Kafka and configure our zookeeper. But before we do that, within your Kafka folder, you need to create a folder called data. As an example, use mkdir data to create a data folder in your directory. So mkdir, then data. So here file already exists in my own data. So if it's not already exists, you can do that so that it's sure that it exists. It doesn't exist. And then the next um inside your inside your data folder, you need to make 2 additional folder named Kafka and then zookeeper. So if I cd into my data folder here, I can see that I have an ls. If I list ls hub, I can see that I have my zookeeper and my Kafka inside my folder. So you should see this Kafka zookeeper only without any other file in your Kafka folder. If you make this direct, just use this command to make that, and then you are good to go. Next, we need to update our zookeeper file properties file in our Kafka folder so that the data directory is pointing to our data folder we created earlier. So within the zookeeper properties, just go to your cd back into your Kafka folder, and if you get all the file in your Kafka folder, you can see we have a config file. Inside your config file, then you'll be able to find your zookeeper.properties folder. So we go to my as well. Here I'm in my config folder. Go to zookeeper.properties. Yeah, go to zookeeper.properties. You can open that in VS Code. Once you open that in VS Code, you update your data directory to point to your data folder as I've done here. That way you'll be able to, you are good to go. Then next up is for us to then update your server properties inside the same config folder to point into this value so that your listener key can have the value of this plain text server.properties folder. Then you create this listener equals plain text and then the IP address pointing to this to this listener. Once you've done that correctly, you have to then go to the next step. The next step for us is then to start our Kafka. So we now need to start first. You need to start Zookeeper in your Kafka folder. That's some troubleshooting done here. So then once you've done that, open another terminal to start Kafka. To start your Kafka server property. So once make sure the zookeeper is still open. Once it's still open, we go to open a new tab. And once you open a new tab, it should open in your folder as you've had before. Just allow the zookeeper to still continue running. So this is now our second terminal that we are opening for this to work. So inside this second folder, you can see where we are still in our Kafka folder file. So then we need to start our server. So once we run this command, I'll put this command in the description below for you to be able to run that, and then you try it out yourself. So if you try it out and you see something different, you can put a link in the description below and I will respond to all queries as soon as possible. So once we start this, you see some files downloading, and if you scroll up, you should see that everything is working fine perfectly. And if you see this output, that means everything is working fine. On the zookeeper, once you scroll up, you should see a big zookeeper file uploaded, showing on your terminal. So this is how you start the second. And now we have our server running. So we need to create topics. So topics are just what you hold your data in Kafka. So the producer from Kafka writes to the topics, and then the consumer read from this topic. So topic is very, very important for you to be able to pass data from your producer then to your consumer. Your producer might be from an app or a social media platform, and your consumer might be your database where your data is being saved into. So we need to create to create your topics. You need to create open a new window, a new terminal window again, and you can open it in a new tab if that's comfortable for you. For here, I'm opening a new tab, and then run this command here. I'll also put the link to this command in the description below so you can try it out. So this command is a little bit longer, and then if you want to learn more about the command here and then the arguments you need to put into this command, I will put the link to some of the documentations and videos on how to do this in the description below so you can watch that and learn more about that. So once you then do this, you should see once this is successful, you should see a print message on your terminal saying your Kafka topic has been created successfully. So once I run that, I can see that this topic, my Kafka already exists. If it's not already exists, you should see my first Kafka topic created successfully. Once that is done, then you need to start your producer. So the producer is where we are reading the data from, and then the consumer is where the data is being stored. So we call it the data source and then the data sink. The data source should be your producer, and then the data sink, which is like your data, should be like a database where the data is being stored into. So now to start your producer, start a new terminal in another tab. So the number of tabs we are opening is growing. So next we are still in the same Kafka folder, remember, and then now we need to run the producer command. the producer command. If you need more explanation around what is producer, what is consumer, and stuff like that, leave me a comment below and I will create another video explaining details on what producer and consumer is all about. So here we are starting our producer. We need to change our .zh command, which is default in my terminal here. If you are running this in VS Code, it's easier to switch between your bash and your .zh command line. So here I just use a magic command to switch to bash. Once you switch to bash, it should be able to work. Producer is working. Once you switch to bash here, our producer is working. Next, we need to open a new terminal as well to start our consumer. So in a new tab, we are still in our bin folder. Then you can run this command here to start your consumer. So here, remember we need to use bash for you to be able to run this. Then paste that, and then you start your consumer. So once this has been started, we can start. So this has been started successfully. So our server is running. Our zookeeper to monitor the messaging is running. Our producer is also running. So to test this out, you can write anything you want on your producer, and then it will show on your consumer tab. This project has been started successfully. So once we run this, we should see the corresponding message in your consumer. And with this, you are done connecting or setting up Apache Kafka on your local machine. So these steps you've gone through here is the same process you're going to go through if you are setting it up on the cloud platform or any other platform. Let me know in the comments below, and I will look at the reason why it's not working and provide some guidance into this. Thank you very much for watching, and see you in the next one.